Self-confidence comes from doing difficult things. Self-confidence, self-love, self-respect, it all comes from deciding to do something difficult. Here's what happens when something hard comes up and you find a reason why you can't do it. It's too hard, it's too difficult, it's too scary. Most people will let you off the hook. The people around you will say, yeah, it's way too hard. I mean, the fact you even thought about it was crazy. You let yourself off the hook, but then you realize, I could have done it. You know, like that's the worst feeling in the world, that you could have done something, but then you came up with an excuse as to why you can't. And that will eat you up. And even if the world lets you off the hook, recognize that they have lower standards than you. Recognize that the people who are giving you that advice and patting you on the back and saying it's okay, you don't need to do it, they don't like their life either. They're stuck. They're trapped. They're not pushing hard. They're not being aggressive for their goals. They're not tough either. And we're reinforcing that comfort loop. Every day, comfort you versus growth you are in a fight. There's a war going on inside you. Comfort you versus growth you. Comfort Evan versus growth Evan. Every day there's a fight, there's a battle, there's a war going on. And you need to decide who's going to win the fight. It's a daily thing. And the more growth you wins against comfort you, the more you start to grow. The more you start to hit your goals. The more you start to have an impact. The more you start to love yourself. Because again, even if the world will let you off the hook, you know it's just an excuse. I think most people think of it as a giant step that you have to take to build that self-confidence. It's not. I think it's much more about the daily battles with yourself that then builds up to major things. Just like you don't go to the gym and lift 400 pounds, you start by lifting 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 40 pounds, whatever it is. That's how you start to build the muscle. It's much more about the daily building of the muscle to show yourself who you are, much more than the one-off heroic moments. Here's an example. So yesterday we had an insane snowstorm here in Toronto. I don't know if we can, it's kind of blurry, you can't see. We had, I can see some here behind me. It's like, look, see that mountain of snow behind me? We had an insane snowstorm. We had probably the worst snowstorm in Toronto, Canada, in a decade. I have not seen this much snow in a crazy amount of time. And so I'm going for a walk, rucking. And rucking is where you carry a backpack. So I'm carrying a backpack of 20 pounds as I'm walking, doing my normal walk. And it's crazy outside. Normally, the rucking alone is hard enough, and I just increased the weight in the backpack. Now, there's no path to walk on. And this morning, I was walking through an area, and there was zero path. The snow is up to my knees, and I need to get through. So what are my options? Well, I could complain and turn around, right? Like, I could look out the window and say, it's so much snow. I'm not going to do that. I'll do it when there's less snow. You know, and then the next day there's less snow, there's still snow, and the next day there's still snow, and then all of a sudden you just give up on the habit, right? Like you let yourself off the hook to say, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you never do it, and then the habit's gone. And that's what you're teaching yourself. This is why it leads to identity. This is why it leads to negative self-worth and negative self-confidence, because the next time you come up with an idea, you've already reinforced the training. You're training yourself that when you come up with an idea, you don't do the thing. When you say you're going to do it, and you're going to start tomorrow, and then you don't, the next time you come up with an idea, guess what? You've already reinforced the pattern. Like, I don't follow through. I'm not going to do that. I'm excited today, but tomorrow I won't follow through. So there's this snow. It's up to my knees, right? Up to my knees, and I'm 6'1", so it's some serious snow. Like I got to walk through, not quite that. That's probably taller than me. I don't have to walk through that much, but up to my knees. I'm looking at it, and I've got to go, I don't know, 100 meters through this thing. And initially my thought was, man, why is there no path? Why has nobody shoveled this? Why has nobody snowblowed this? Like, I gotta get over there. I got a backpack on. I'm rucking. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm already exhausted. Now I gotta go through this. This is when we need to catch ourselves, right? Everybody would have let me off the hook. And another me would have let me off the hook, right? Comfort Evan would have let growth Evan off the hook. So it's okay. Go back home, or go the long way around where there's a path. Don't go through that snow up to your knees. And as soon as I caught it, now what? Most of the time you won't catch it. Most of the time you'll do the automatic thing. And usually the automatic thing is the comfort thing. So usually play small by default. Usually you'll look outside and see the snow and not go. Just by default, not even catching the conversation with yourself. But when you catch it, this is a really important moment. What do you do? Do you do the difficult thing or do you do the comfort thing? Because when you catch it and you make a conscious choice, this is how we start to either change our identity or reinforce our identity. So I looked at it, I caught it, and I said, I'm going through. Let's go. I caught the negative thinking. I caught the comfort Evan coming over, walk around, go home. Nope, not happening. We're going through. We are going through. We are going to make it through. And it was rough. I'm walking through, I'm freezing. I'm taking one kind of giant step at a time. Snow is getting all through my boots, all down my legs. I almost slip and fall. I have a coffee that I picked up. It's dripping all over the place. And in my head, as I'm going through it, it's like, this is the best. Let's go. Let's go, Evan. You got this, man. Let's go. You do difficult things. That's the thing on repeat in my head. Combined with that, I'm also telling myself that, you know what? Not only am I doing this difficult thing for me, I'm also creating a path for other people, that the next person who comes up against this 100 meters or so, that now they will have not an easy time, but an easier time of crossing the same path so that they can get across. So it's going to service. If you're ever having a hard time getting yourself to do something, it's one, you do difficult things, remind yourself, and two, default to service, that it's not just about you, it's for other people. Now, that may not even be true. Maybe nobody ever comes across that path. Maybe I didn't make it easier for the next person. Maybe somebody comes 5 minutes after me and snow blows the whole thing, and so there was zero service. It doesn't matter. It's the story that I'm telling myself that it will serve other people, that will get you to then do the difficult thing. So, in order to make it happen, there's two triggers that I use. One is language, so scary, difficult, or hard. If you say those things, if you feel those things, if you text those things, if you write those things, if you're talking to yourself and you catch those things, then you have to do it. You can no longer accept scary, difficult, or hard as reasons for you not to do the thing. Because your great life is on the other side of scary, difficult, hard. Everything you want. The business you want, the relationships you want, the health that you want, everything, your great life. If you wrote down a list of everything you want out of life, everything on that list comes on the other side of you doing scary, difficult, and hard things. Growth you. That's growth you, fighting, comfort you. So when you catch yourself saying, speaking, writing, thinking, scary, difficult, or hard, that's a trigger. It should be a trigger. It's a trigger for me. It should be a trigger for you to go and do it. Do it. Go. Walk through the giant snow. And you might be thinking, well, how does that help me with my business? It's just walking through snow and I'm going to be cold and have snow in my boots. How does that help me? It's an identity thing. Because as soon as you start to teach yourself that you're the kind of person who follows through on those scary, difficult, hard things, then the next time that shows up anywhere in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your health, anything that actually helps you accomplish your goals, you're going to be ready to show up for it. You're going to be more likely to actually do the thing because you've been training and conditioning yourself to do the thing. That's why walking through 100 meters of snow matters. So the first is scary, difficult, hard. Those are verbal cues or thought cues. The second is the boom, boom, boom test where your heart is beating quickly. It's like when your heart is going crazy like that, it's usually because you should be doing something. You're afraid, right? Now, don't go standing on the highway because it's scary and it makes your heart race, right? Don't be stupid. But most of the things that you're afraid of aren't actually things that are going to be life-threatening, right? They're not. Usually it's other people's opinions. Usually you're afraid of not failing, but somebody watching you fail, right? You're going to fail at something. Who's going to see you? That's what we're actually afraid of. And that cannot be a good enough reason. It can't, not anymore. If you're afraid of losing in front of somebody, if you're afraid of other people's opinions, if you are living your life based off of the expectations and judgment of other people, you will never do anything great. You will never live your great life because somebody always has a plan for what you should be doing with your life. You will never please everybody. It's not possible. You have to start to learn to please yourself. And it's not doing something just to show off and just to prove somebody wrong. I'm not a big fan of tapping into that energy. The reason to do something is not to prove somebody wrong or make somebody else look stupid. The reason to do something is because that's who you are and that's what you want to do. And so learning to do difficult things, teaching yourself step by step, brick by brick, one snow storm at a time, teaching yourself that will change your life. You deserve a better life. You deserve a great life. And that comes on the other side of you doing the things that are scary, difficult, and hard.
If you want another Evan Rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
When you figure out what you stand for, everything becomes so much easier. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs who they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this and they're doing also this thing. And it feels like it's all over the place, right?